Star Wars, one of the most influential movie sagas of all time. Its story was supposedly continued in 1999 with the release of The Phantom Menace. Now this movie was hyped up to an unbelievable degree. I mean, it was ridiculous. But to the disappointment of fans, it wasn't the Star Wars movie we were hoping for. In fact, it was not the Star Wars movie we ever wanted to see. Needless to say, it was not well received at all. In fact, most of us hated it. But as always, there was always a small group of people that actually genuinely liked it. Let me say that I don't hate you if you are part of this group. In fact, most people that like the prequels are pretty nice people, and I even have some friends that like them. This video is meant for an entirely different group of people. People who have passed into the realms of the dark side. I'm going to be honest with you guys, this was a really tough video to write. I think that the Star Wars prequels are something that have been reviewed, analyzed, and trashed to death. Most of us agree that the original trilogy is much better than them in pretty much every way. However, there are a select few people that continuously hate on people that like the original trilogy better. These people tend to say that we're blinded because we're nostalgia, and that since we don't like the prequels, we're no longer Star Wars fans. If you're like me, then you know that this argument is the complete encapsulation of stupidity. Oh, I didn't like Crystal Skull, so suddenly I'm not a true Indiana Jones fan? I didn't like The Amazing Spider-Man 2, so suddenly I'm not a true Spider-Man fan. No, this statement makes no sense, and it doesn't help validate the quality of the prequels. But it got me thinking, have I been treating the prequels unfairly? Have I been letting all of the negativity surrounding them influence my own opinion of them? To answer this question, I rewatched them and let them sink in my brain for a little bit. And after I collected my thoughts on them, I reached my answer. Not at all. Well, close to that anyways. Let's get to the good stuff first. The sound in these movies are incredible. The music is perfect. John Williams created a perfect score for these movies. He perfectly blended the old themes with the new ones. The sound design by Ben Burtt is also really good, with there being some sort of audio continuity other than the music to make people believe that these two trilogies are in fact in the same universe. There's some fairly good CGI, despite most of it not aging well at all, as well as some okay set pieces. But honestly, that's it. You see, my problem with the prequels is that they have no idea what they want to be. They want to be a beginning to the Star Wars saga. Okay, sure, but to fully understand them, you have to have seen the original trilogy first. Scratch that. They want to be the epic backstory that we never got to see in the original trilogy. But even that doesn't end up working out because every important thing that actually makes a difference in terms of character and overall plot was told in the original trilogy. As Sam from Sam's channel said, everything else is just pointless, boring filler. The only things that are needed to be known are that Anakin Skywalker was once a powerful Jedi who betrayed his master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and left his family because he was seduced by the dark side. That's all that's needed, and again, all this was already said in the original trilogy. But no, apparently we need to know how the Emperor came into power, what the Clone Wars were actually about, and how the Force works. Screw you, midichlorians. See, now, I might not even have a problem with all of this if the movies were at least entertaining. The Hobbit trilogy is a great example of this. While not a lot of it actually matters, there's some great acting, mainly by Martin Freeman, and some well-done set pieces, but the prequels are just so hard to get through when we aren't watching a 40-minute long meeting that is as entertaining as C-SPAN. We're watching horrible characters spouting out some of the worst written dialogue in a long time. One of the original trilogy's greatest strengths was that it had fun, colorful characters that were real people. They were happy, sad, angry, fearful, and were for all intents and purposes human. The banter between Han, Luke, and Leia was so fun and interesting to listen to because they themselves were interesting people. The characters in this trilogy, on the other hand, well, we get stuff like this.
I don't like sand. I have a bad feeling about this.
I don't sense anything.
It's coarse and rough and irritating.
It's not about the mission, Master. It's something elsewhere. Elusive.
And it gets everywhere.
See what I mean? This is why the action set pieces do absolutely nothing for me. Sure, they're choreographed well and they're on a much bigger scale, but honestly, I really couldn't care less about the people partaking in them. That's why I will always be more emotionally invested in that scene like this, rather than a death scene like this. In In fact, while we are on the topic of action sequences, let's talk about the CGI in them. It sucks. Well, I should probably elaborate on that. For their time, they were revolutionary and were probably mind-blowing. But as the years have gone by, boy, have they aged. My problem with the CGI in this movie is not merely the fact that they even exist, as some would have you to believe. My problem is that they're not integrated with the surrounding environment well. In fact, not at all. Most of the time, the entirety of a scene was just shot with a bunch of actors in a blue screen room acting against tennis balls. I just don't buy into what I'm seeing, and that is the sad truth. I have a hard time believing this exists in the same world as the original trilogy. And this all ties back into what I said earlier. This movie doesn't know what it wants to be. It wants to be part of the same universe as the original trilogy, but nothing other than superficial things remain between the two trilogies. It doesn't have the same colorful characters, it isn't fun, and it doesn't even look like it's in the same world. Herein lies the problem. The prequels just aren't good movies on their own. It's not the comparison between the two trilogies that makes me not like them. Again, with my Middle-earth analogy, while I know that the Hobbit movies are nowhere near as good as the Lord of the Rings movies, I still like them because they still hold okay as an actual movie in their own right. The prequels just aren't good movies, and that's why I don't like them. But hey, I'll give you one thing, that Darth Maul fight was pretty cool. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe.
I don't like sand.